like hell. It hurt like hell. How many of you have spoken those words before? Doesn't have to be recently, could have been yesterday, could have been last year. I know you've spoken those words, those same exact 4 words, it hurt like hell, before. I know you have. I have. Your girl, Lady Dar, have expressed those same feelings, chose those same 4 words, and it does. It hurt like hell. What is she talking about? What hurt like hell? What are you talking about, Dar? Tune in. What am I talking about? It hurt like hell. Is all that I can say. Really, no, it's not all that I can say. That's why I'm glad that you decided to join me, because I have so much more to say about those 4 words. It hurt like hell. I'm your girl, Lady Dar, founder of this wonderful organization, Walking Them Shoes, which is the YouTube channel, which is the empowerment firm, which is all of the above, all things that will help motivate you and encourage you on this journey of becoming. Listen up, y'all. The video that you are about to view, there's a lot of serious emotion behind this video. I want you to look past the features in this video. Your girl had wore a bit of makeup, and I guess because of the eye irritation, the rubbing of the eyes, and it was just all over the place. The makeup was just all over the place. And I wanted to continue on in the video. So I did just that. So I hope that you can get past the look and get past what you see in this video. I'm trying to tell you, it's horrific. The makeup was hideous. It wasn't hitting, it was hideous. But the message is on point. If you know me, you know that I'm delivering something that sends a message, is a message involved. And because I have this organization, Walking Them Shoes, you must know the only way to walk in them shoes is with godly confidence. Ooh, honey, it took a lot of godly confidence for me to release this video, because the makeup is horrible. But there's a message there for you. So I hope that you're able to enjoy this video, look past the shadow that is going on above, but get in tune with the video. In order for me to be the confidence and clarity coach that I am, a lot of times I just have to deliver it as it is. It may come off looking crazy, but I have to deliver it because it's a message there. I am a confidence and clarity coach. I'm transparent, I'm honest, and I just make sure that I share truth, and that's what it is. That's all of what I do, and just wanting to help another woman heal on her journey of becoming. So enjoy the video. I am what? What'd you say? The hosts who matter the most. Yeah. All that is good. Doesn't mean a hill of beans, because guess what? At the end of the day, life is still going to life. Life is still going to happen. And as an empowerment speaker, motivational speaker, and author, and all of the other wonderful things that I am, life happens, and life can change your life. Life can change your life. So, most of you know I've embraced my new chapter, chapter 52. It feels good. It feels great, in fact. But embracing 52 has made me look at the past several years. Actually, it made me look at the past several years. And in the past several years, I went through a change. I went through a change that was almost devastating, I want to say. It was disappointing. And if you follow me, whether it's here on the YouTube channel or Instagram or on my podcast, you've heard me talk about the 3 Ds: death, divorce, and division. Because there's so many other D's that you could use, which is disappointment, distraction. But I'm talking about death, divorce, and did I say disruption? Death, divorce. Oh God, y'all. It hurt like hell. That's all I can say. It hurt like hell. And I'm just here to keep it 100 with you, keep it truthful with you. It hurt like hell. Death, divorce, and division. That's what I spoke about. That's what my that's what my podcast episode, can't remember which episode it was, but I know it was probably December of 2022 because that was towards the end of my transition. Oh, that was somewhere towards the mid part of my transition, and I don't know. But what am I talking about when I say it hurt like hell? Death hurt, division hurt, divorce hurt. And within the past couple of years, when I say that I've looked over my life, the past few years, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back a bit. And I'm just going to keep it 100, keep it honest with you. I am a mother of 3 adult children, 6 beautiful grandkids, my second marriage. And my first marriage was pretty good. I'm going to project my voice because my mics are dying, and at what point I don't know, that they would probably just completely die in the midst of this video, and I did not want that to happen because you need to understand this message that I'm delivering on today. So here we are. Your girl is recently divorced in her first marriage, right? What led Dar to divorce? What led Dar to division? What led Dar to the many disappointments in her life over the past couple years? And I'm just leading up to this. I'm not divulging all of my personal information, so go ahead and put your tea up, put your wine up. You can go put that stuff away. You don't even have to worry about it. Psych, I'm just joking. But here I am, this young lady who just recently came out of a divorce. And mind you, that first marriage was not bad. It wasn't bad. My husband at that time, my very first husband, was a loving, catering provider, protector. He was a really good man. He was a really good man. But long story short, that marriage ended in divorce because my husband was involved in a very serious truck accident, which led him down a spiraling path. He was a minister in the church, very well. He was a good man. He was just a good man, but his life circumstance, the life circumstance that happened, led him down a path, a very, very dark path. And I didn't feel led to go down that path with him. And I know that may sound harsh, but what I'm saying is, when my husband had this accident, it was a truck accident, led him into a severe depression, became addicted to his pain medication, which led him to do some foolish things that caused him to get locked up. And at the age that he was, he felt like, baby, I can't go back to jail. And he went on a run. Long story short, he went on a run down North Carolina. And the girl just was not going on a run with him. And that's what I'm saying, that I did not feel compelled to make that run with him. So here he was on a run and still trying to be a husband from North Carolina, South Carolina, where I'm here in Philadelphia. And when I say he was much of a provider, he was still paying bills, still taking care of everything from South Carolina, right? Now, mind you, we had purchased a brand new home, so there was no mortgage, but the man was just a provider. So we were married for over 10 years, and when I say that this man catered to my every need, wasn't the father of my children, but made sure that we were good. And when I say he was the man that was like right by my side, he was right by my side, okay? So here it is, going into 2017, I guess it was. My husband and I finalized our divorce, and I started dating. So after we finalized that divorce, he was going probably about a year. We finalized the divorce. Dar decides that now she wants to, embrace herself. Mind you, my 3 young adult children were having children all at the same time. Bam, 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 bam. These beautiful babies of mine, they were mine. Yep, I just didn't birth them, but they were mine. They are mine. And I don't care what their parents say. But these babies were my all. And they were coming back to back, back to back. And my mom was there. My mom was right there with her children and helping them to raise their children. So, you know, Dora's starting to feel like she needs to come into her own. She missed kind of being married, or she just kind of missed, you know, being loved. Now, I always kept me somebody. Don't get me wrong. I always had somebody. But I wanted somebody, right? But hold on now, because what did not happen was the girl did not heal from the pain of her past. And the pain of her past was she did not heal the fact that her now husband was on the run. Her now husband and her decides, since I was not going to be on a run with him, he decides that, okay, well then I'll just wait this thing out. He was a very, 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 very patient man. But once he got wind that Dar was starting to see other people, he wasn't feeling it. So of course, long story short, the man decided, like, listen, we need to get a divorce. And okay, yeah, because I'm not running in North Carolina. I'm not gonna be on the run with you. I don't care how long your money is. I don't care how good what is, but no, Dar wasn't gonna do that and upleave her babies and babies. No, I wasn't doing that. So now here I am living my life. And because I didn't heal with the pain of my past, this girl started going to the bars. She started partying. She started just, you know, having fun, and which she thought she was just having fun, but I was masking that pain. I was masking it. I was still being a mother to my young adult children who were all still home at that time, I believe. My grandchildren were there. My oldest daughter, I think at some point she had moved out. And, you know, just still being, you know, the mother that I am and the grandmother that I am, but I still wanted to feel myself. I still wanted to enjoy life, and bam, it happened. I started going down to the bars. My brother had a party. I ran into some old familiars, and bam, 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 bam. And I was breathing because I felt like I had been smothered by my husband. I felt like I had been kind of like just being just a grandmom and not breathing and being myself. So now I'm feeling myself. And I think Beyonce had a song out that had just came out that time, Love on Top. Well, honey, alcohol and music and the girl who love to have fun and who know how to have fun and just don't always mix. But long story short, the girl was just dipping and dabbing and just doing her own thing. Ran into the familiar. Bam, 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 bam. Or should I say no? Well, it's too late to say no because she got in it. She was in it, and she rekindled a friendship with someone that she had, someone from her past, and it was just like, okay. And he was into the streets. So this is not a good mix. Now you got this girl who feels like she needs to be free and she just want to be able to do her thing, but she was enjoying doing her thing because now not only am I hooked up with the familiar, I'm hooked up with the familiar, and we are in our zone, in the area in which we grew up, and in the area in which we grew up, well known, you know, we're going to parties, we're going to bar, no, we're going to bar hopping, which, honey, baby, let me tell you something. The life I lived before this bar hopping stuff was just, I wasn't missing nothing, but you couldn't tell the girl nothing, okay? So not dealing with that pain of that past made that seem attractive, okay? Not wanting to be alone made that seem attractive. So I'm dating this man that is the familiar, who I knew, who everyone knew, and because I knew him and he was close to my family, I was close to his family, it was like, why not? Oh, this guy brought us together, but no, baby, God did not bring that together. That was the flesh that brought y'all together, okay? But you couldn't tell Dar that, you couldn't tell Niecy that, you couldn't tell Darnice that, you couldn't tell me that because I'm feeling myself, remember? I'm feeling myself, so here we are here, you know, we in this thing, and mind you, this man that I'm with is just, okay, we out, we're partying. So you're drinking, you having sex, and all of these emotions are flowing, and, you know, you feeling good because, you know, you have the responsibility at home, but it's nothing that I couldn't handle. It was really nothing that I couldn't handle, but just feeling myself in those moments felt so good. And I knew it wasn't right. But then when the individual wanted to really start taking it up a notch and really taking it to another level and like ready to tie this girl down and ready to get settled, I was like, ooh, I don't know. Yeah, I wasn't sure, but I knew I loved the individual. I knew I loved them and I wanted to be married, but I just wasn't sure. And there were some other complicating factors in this thing now, y'all. And the other complicating factors that what was in this was that this here is just all over the place. But the other complicating factors that was in this was this. I was a Christian. He was a Muslim. Yeah, he was a Muslim, I was a Christian. And the two just don't mix. But again, I have a brother who's a Muslim, his wife is a Christian, and I'm looking at other people that I know. I'm like, okay, this works. It works for some people. But see, here you are thinking that, you dating a familiar, you loving the scene that y'all were in, coming home is good because y'all, you done had drinks, you loving one another. Oh, you loving one another. But I'm just saying, that individual wasn't where they were supposed to be. So there was another reservation in a sense of they really wouldn't be able to really take care of me like that. Or like we just like, it didn't seem like it would be stability, right? And a woman always wants stability, whether she's holding her own down or not. I've always held my place down. I've always worked, maintained my own, but there's nothing like a man to me. A man just can't be all body. You gotta be able to provide and protect, and you just can't have the good loving and just being a familiar. Other things had to come into that. So as they were evolving, as they were ready to get on the board of trying to change their life, I was with it, and I was like, okay, because this is going to go somewhere. All right, I see it. Long story short, we're going to speed up some. We kicking it. We together. We're not kicking it. We together. We decide we are together, and the way the individual was speaking about these two being together, it was speaking in terms of our nicknames, not our adult selves, but our nicknames. And I think that felt good to that individual because that brought back memories of our past and, made it just so familiar. And it does feel good to have the familiar. But Dar was like, in her adulthood, and so was the individual. But one thing's for certain, two things for sure. You have to realize that sometimes people who leave the neighborhood never really leave the neighborhood. Their mindset, their mentality, everything is still there. Okay, so here we are. We decide years later, things were going on and off, up and down, but soul ties. And I'm talking soul ties. Things was just keeping us together, and it was just like the familiar kept sucking us in, the families and knowing one another. We would just, and I think all along God was trying to let Dar know that this is not what I want for your life, but I wasn't listening. Not even with 2 ears, I still wasn't listening. And we got married. We got married knowing that, yes, we had love for each other. I loved this man. And I believe that man loved me. And so many people would always say, you look good together, or I love y'all two together, and this, that, and the other. So all of that felt good, but there was a piece that was missing. Because I was a Christian woman, I'm still trying to pray. I'm upstairs trying to pray, and he downstairs trying to akbak, shaklak, all of that. And you got the Jesus' name, the magnificent, wonderful name of Jesus going on one floor and down here, and it just wasn't mixing. And honestly, as the words say, two cannot walk together unless they agree. Now, I'm going to keep it 100 with you. I knew what the Bible said. I knew exactly what the Bible said. Keep in mind that my first husband was a minister. We were in church faithfully. And when I say that this man couldn't open up his mouth without talking about the word, and there was a time when I'm like, everything does not revolve around the Bible. But it does. But keep in mind now with this Muslim man, and it's like, okay, you don't have to say all that about the Bible. But long story short, the girl got married, and we were unequally yoked. And being unequally yoked, we were facing all of these different challenges, and this brought upon division, the division that I talked about. He wanted to make me a Muslim woman, and the girl was just so strong in her faith, that she felt like, you're not going to make me be a Muslim woman. You're not going to make me cover up all of this. No, heck no. But then there was that I love my husband, I love my man that I'm with. I want us to be equal. But I couldn't embrace that. And there were a lot of qualities that I admire about Muslim women, but I couldn't get with that. I just couldn't. My spirit just would not. And I'm gonna tell y'all, I love to love, y'all. Y'all know that about me. It's not even just because it's on a t-shirt. I love to love. This girl love being in a relationship, love being married. I love to love. But I didn't love to love enough to want to change my faith and my belief in God, my Christian walk. So there was tug of war going on. And towards the end of my divorce, towards the end of all of this, here I am, get ready to turn 50, and this man is feeling some way. He's always feeling some sort of way about what I did. Come in, you got to get harassed somewhat, so to speak. Now, listen, we can play cops and robbers all day and night, and you may even be able to put handcuffs on me. But what you're not going to do is interrogate me every day, and not, like it just didn't work. And it was difficult. It was very difficult. And what it started doing was, because this individual was still into the street, my mindset was business focused. My mindset now was like, okay, let's run a household, and let's run a business. And he was already business oriented. He brought a lot of things and ideas to my mind, but we just could not get it together. And a lot of times people are grown in age, but when men don't deal with mental health issues, it makes it all the more difficult to deal with. And if you don't have someone that you can communicate with, it is like challenging, okay? It just became very challenging. So the girl was facing like, Lord, what am I going to do? Because now I'm married. And as a married woman, you got to pray for your marriage. You got to pray for your husband. You got to do all these things. And yes, he is the lead. He is the head, supposedly. But keep in mind, he's leading the girl into Islam. Honestly. And my mindset is like, God, Father, in the mighty name of Jesus, Lord, I need this man. I need you to do a new work in him. I need you, to turn this man Christian. He needs to become a Christian man, Lord, and blah, 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 blah. All of this stuff is going on, but your girl, God heard me. But he said, daughter, those are not the plans that I have for your life. So now we having these feelings, these ill feelings, and we in this household together, and it's like it's real division coming on. But when marriage, a brand new marriage, y'all supposed to be like this. Yeah, at times we couldn't keep our hands off of one another, but outside the bedroom, what did it mean if you couldn't communicate? Outside the bedroom, what did it mean if you didn't have no more respect for the individual? Because this girl's mouth was vicious. This girl's mouth, instead of, I was beginning to, come at him with disrespectful things that I was saying. And because I was business oriented and did a lot of different things with other men, I felt like he should have been there to oversee or support, but there was so much envy or so much something, I don't know what it was exactly, and I kind of do, but I'm not getting ready to say it right here. But lo and behold, it really just made matters worse. I would go do an event, and then it would just be always something. Or even before I go do the event, and as I share in my book, Shifted to Speak on Success, this individual would say things to me like, oh, you doing all this and you ain't making no money. Oh yeah, they don't really want you. Oh yeah, they just using you. Oh, you naive, and blah, blah, blah. There was so much behind the scenes, and it was starting to tear the girl down. But because of this girl's Christian faith, what I would do, you would say one thing, and I started putting stickies everywhere. Stickies everywhere, reminding me in my mirror in my bathroom, reminding me of who I was. And this was to help keep me up because of the disappointment that I was facing. It became so challenging because at one point I'm looking at this like, damn, this is my man. Not just my man, this is my husband. How can a husband not support? How can a husband tear down? But guess what? Not dealing with the pain of his past, I'm expecting this man to love me, not even, and there was a bit of comparison, and he used to say that like, I'm not dude. And there was times when I not wish he was, but just wish that, so I just wish that he had some of those same characteristics, some of those same characteristics that would make him be that faithful man that was committed to putting God first. And don't get me wrong, he was strong in his faith, but his faith wasn't my faith. And their faith, that Islamic faith, looked at things different. More of a controlling environment for their wife, whereas in Christianity, it's like God is in control. He is to seek God. His wife is to seek him. Like they're to seek God together. And it's just, it was just a bit different. So yeah, I was looking for that in him. And at times he felt that I was comparing, and I probably was. And, all apologies. But, I loved the individual and I knew the individual loved me, but not dealing with his own issues of his past. And me too, not dealing with my own issues of my past, just made for a horrific collide. And it was a collision that was very uncomfortable for the both of us. And because I began to pray heavily, and I'm talking fasting and praying and anointing, and I had tried everything. We went to counseling. This individual would just kind of shut down, so there was like barely communication. And I could say he tried, I could say I tried, but I think we just didn't try hard enough. And I'm gonna tell you the reason why I didn't was because God had given me the release. And even though I didn't want to believe it, I was like, God frowns upon divorce. Like, what am I hearing here? So I became baffled. And I know that God is not the author of confusion. So I just really had to continue to seek his face and seek his face. And as I'm seeking his face, like, it's like, it became harder for me. And I just was like, I surrendered. Like, I can't do no more. I could not do no more, and our living arrangements were like really tough. And I felt like they were mad at me for like really mad at me. And it was like I didn't do anything severely. Like, what is it that we couldn't talk about? What is it that we couldn't get past? Why couldn't we get past? And had so many different questions. But lo and behold, it was this. God had other plans for not just Dar. God had other plans for both of us, honestly. So God had those other plans, right, for your girl, Dar. And as I begin to recognize those things, I'm still under the household with my spouse who wasn't really supportive. And, it was really tough. And I'm talking, I battled. There were some things that I battled. And I said I wasn't going to cry, but there were some things that I battled, because this is the thing. It's one thing for you to be into something and for me to be into something, but I'm going to support you wholeheartedly. There was no envy. There was no hate. I'm going to do my part. And when I felt like that wasn't being reciprocated, and even though I may have felt like this individual may have been going through a bit of depression or a bit of, of a shutdown or whatever you want to call it, I still expected that support. I still expected all of that. And when I didn't get it, it was like God was showing me that's not what he wanted for my life. And I believe when I say God gave me the peace with it, I'll share with you how my bishop spoke this word into my life. And he said these words to me. I have my journal here. I do not lie. I will not lie to you, boo. My bishop was preaching one day, and the topic was, it had to happen this way. The next season will explain it all. And I'm telling you that because of my prayer, because of my fasting, and me asking God, and when I would go to church and I would come home and the air was just, it felt bad. It felt bad. There was just so many different signs to let me know, boo, it's time to let this thing go. And my publicist at that time was like, my PR person at that time was like, I was probably about 7 months, 8 months into my marriage, maybe almost 9 months. And they were like, what do you mean you're going to get a divorce? I was like, I'm getting a divorce. And even though when I asked for that divorce, it was almost like in the heat of the moment, I knew what I was speaking about. I knew that I had been contemplating this, and I wanted the divorce because I felt like we were unequally yoked and there was just going to continuously be a problem. The individual didn't feel like they had a problem. We had a problem, but he didn't have a problem. I had the problem, and it was a problem in our marriage. Okay, so that was their take. And I had to own my part in it. And I can tell you the biggest time that I owned it was outside of it. But there was times when I was reflecting and like, okay, this may be my part. This may be my part, and wanting to come together to communicate about it. But they weren't there yet. So I had to experience this divorce, y'all, which I'm speeding up to. That was a difficult time in my life. That was these 3 Ds. Death, divorce, and division bring upon 2 things: change, and it brings upon disappointment. And I speak in my podcast. I was speaking in my podcast in this episode. I think it was like December 2022. Like dealing with the pain of your past so that you're not taking it into your future, into your new chapter in your life. I think I was telling people to look at their life from January 1, 2022 to December 31st, 2022. So when they walked into 2023, they will be walking in with a renewed mindset. You know, you have to reflect on that. And I'm speeding up to this part here. Walking into my chapter, the 52nd chapter of my life. Now, y'all know if y'all reading a book and it has 52 chapters or more in there, that is a thick book. That is a life to live. And that's what I'm looking at right now. Like I'm in my 52nd chapter of my life. That does not mean that between the divorce, the death, the division, doesn't mean that the girl gotta die. It doesn't mean that you don't embrace change. Change is not easy, but we must change. We must change. We must face those changes. It's going to change whether we like it or not. My divorce was very painful for me. It was very painful for me. And there's times that, you know, like even walking into the halal store, going to get meat for dinner, you know, they have the cleanest meat, so I'm going to stick with that. But even walking into like the halal store sometimes, like there are certain things that still bring upon certain memories. And, you know, those are memories that, you know, you just can't erase, you know, because you're no longer with the individual, the pain of your past, you know. I'm dealing with that. I'm still dealing with that. You know, I can honestly say, I'm healed and I feel like I'm at the most peaceful time in my life and I'm embracing that. So I'm coming on to share with you that your process of healing, boo, whether you're dealing with death, divorce, or division, is going to take some time. You take the time that you need to get through. But while you're getting through, while you're embracing that change, know that you are beautiful. Know that you can conquer it. Know that you will get through it. And know that, yes, there's purpose in pain. And I'm going to tell you, baby, as I said in my podcast, if you'd have told me that when my mother passed, I would have hurt you. If you would have told me that even in dealing with my divorce, you know, the first divorce, okay, I really didn't really, it hurt. But guess what? I got underneath someone else. And I'm just keeping it 100. I got underneath someone else, so I really wasn't really dealing with it like that. It was there. I was masking it. I was shopping. I was enjoying my grandbaby, so I didn't really deal with it. You see, but at the same time, this divorce right here, it hurt. It did hurt. I asked for that divorce. He granted that divorce. He said, that's what you want. I'm going to give you what you want. You know, and I think, yes, when we went to counseling, some things were coming out. You know, but it just wasn't meant for us to grow together. And as I said, as my bishop spoke those words in my life, that was the answer and that gave me the release, like, okay. And I know that God gave us both that release because right now we have no animosity towards one another. You know, it was a peaceful divorce. It was a peaceful divorce, you know, so I'm grateful for being able to go through that and come out in my right state of mind. So as I'm embracing my 52nd chapter, boo, yes, I did have to look back in that. I looked back through some of that stuff and it was a mess. But I discovered a lot of things about myself. And as I said in my book, Shifted to Speak on Success, I spoke about how I kept going to God in prayer about this individual, laying next to this man, like, God, do this, heal this, do this, make this man, like, heal this man of his past so that we can move forward, you know, like all of the things, baby. But God had other plans for the girl in Lady Dar, just like he had may have plans for you. So you have to know these two things in dealing with change and dealing with disappointment, baby. It's going to come. It doesn't feel good when you're going through it, and nor does it feel good for you sometimes to have to look back on it. But I can say this, you will grow from it, because guess what? Growing pains, when them children are reaching the teenage years, you know, and them knees are stretching, them bones are stretching, you know, it's growing pains. It is to take you to that new level in your life. Pain is purposeful. That's what they mean when they say pain is purposeful. Because the girl eating Lady Dar probably would have been in that kitchen. No, I wouldn't have become a Muslim woman. I definitely would not have done that. No, I need you to take me serious, so let me put my glasses on. I definitely would not have become a Muslim woman. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? But I would have been serving my husband as I was supposed to. I would have been partnering with him as I was supposed to. So, knowing God's purpose for my life, That pain had to come. I had to go through that. The bishop said it. He knew some of what I was going through, but that was just his topic for that particular day. It had to happen this way. The next season will explain it. And baby, after I wrote the book, Shifted to Speak on Success, while I was going through that, when God was showing me different things, it had to happen that way. It had to happen that way. It had to happen that way. It was painful. It was hurtful. It was. Moved on, moved out into my own apartment, started everything. And guess what I did? My daughter brought this to my attention. I was writing books, writing journals. I'm flushing out so much. I drowned myself into my work. Now I was dealing with it because I had started seeing a therapist, started going through, working on Dar, doing these things. But as I said in the beginning of the video, it hurt like hell. Those 4 words. Now, it hurt like hell. And it had to happen that way. So you'll remember that when when you hear those words, you think about your girlie and Lady Dar. A lot of people will say, "Ooh, girl, you good. How you do this, how you do that." Baby, I had to go through. I did. I had to go through. So as I'm embracing this 52nd chapter of my life, y'all, I'm able to embrace it and walk into the newness and what God has for my life. Yes. And it's a bit, it's a bit of challenge here and there because, things are different for the girl. But I thank God for that. I thank God for my change. I thank God and as I've always said, it is the journey over the destination. Whatever destination God has for your life, what he has for my life, we're going to get there. But let's pay attention to these signs. Let's pay attention to, as we're walking along on this journey, God has something for you, sis. And he has something for you to be able to heal you through the pain of your past. He has something for you. He's not going to allow you to have went through what you went through and stay all funked up and stay all bruised. You can't function being bruised that way. You can't heal, you can't help heal others still being bruised. You got to go through as a process of healing. And I'm telling you, check out the podcast. Check out the episode, that podcast to talk about divorcing the pain of your past. Baby, let me tell you something. Your girl, in working on herself, she had to dig up dirt from the first marriage. She had to dig up dirt from this second marriage. So listen, chapter in my life, I'm just embracing it. I'm just going to embrace it and enjoy it. In my past, I'm healing. I'm still healing from my past. It is a process. And if you know anything that is painful, it takes time to heal, and I'm not so quick to date, right after or even before I even left the marriage, there were opportunities there. Well, after leaving the marriage, there were opportunities there. And then when it hit the fan, when it hit like, oh, she's single, many opportunities there, but I'm in no rush, boo. I'm in no rush. And I encourage you on today, as you walk this thing out here in life and dealing with the pain of your past, as you're walking this out, your journey over the destination, your healing process. Give yourself time, be patient with yourself. As I said before, there's no self-compassion without the self-love. You have to have self-love, and in order for you to have that self-love, you have to deal with the pain of your past. You have to deal with these issues. So here I am at 52, baby, and loving life. And I'm grateful that I'm able to have this platform to share my healing process, my journey, because I had to go through. I journaled, I cried, I prayed, I even saw a therapist. There were things that I had to do to work on me. And I encourage you, whatever disappointment that you're facing, whether it's divorce, death, division, it is going to bring upon these 2 things, change, and it's going to bring upon disappointment. How are you going to deal with that disappointment? It hurt like hell. So I know you need to deal with it. So sis, I'm encouraging you. It's your girlie and Lady Dar here, founder of this wonderful organization, Walking Them Shoes. Thank you for allowing me to share this opportunity with you. I need y'all to follow me on Instagram. Check out the podcast, Walking Them Shoes, y'all. It will encourage your soul, okay? And again, keeping it 100 with yourself. You owe the world nothing, but keep yourself covered under the word of God. And I'm gonna tell you, when you have that relationship with God, he will help you heal what's here. He will help you heal those emotions. He'll help you heal the pain of your past. So I'm your girlie and Lady Dar.